If you've been feeling stuck, exhausted, or like your body is in a loop of stress, it is not your fault, but it is possible to rewire your brain and start feeling better, and it doesn't have to take hours a day. Hey, I'm Amy Jill, and I'd love to explain just what is brain rewiring and some of the ways I self-healed from handfuls of autoimmune conditions without handfuls of supplements or medications. I've also personally healed from food sensitivities and even debilitating anxiety without lengthy protocols, but using and combining hypnosis, getting at the subconscious part of your mind, and brain rewiring tools right in the comfort of my own home. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, certified hypnotherapist, and brain rewiring specialist. But today, I would like to share three main takeaways with you. One, how brain rewiring actually works. Two, a metaphor that helps make it easy. And three, a free tool to get you started. So, very simplified, brain rewiring is in the moment retraining of your thoughts, feelings, and responses. When you have an unwanted thought or feeling, you interrupt the old pathway and choosing a calming or supportive tool instead. Piece of cake, right? To help you understand, here's a metaphor I like to use. So just imagine for a minute that you're walking in the woods and you come to a crossroads. And on one side, there's a worn down path and you've taken it maybe 100 or lots of times. It's smooth, it's familiar. And on the other side, there's an overgrown forest. It's untamed and wild, and both routes are about the same distance, but it's buggy out and you're in your favorite pair of maybe cut off shorts. So which path do you take? Well, that worn path actually represents the default patterns in your brain. Habits, beliefs, reactions you've repeated so often, your brain just goes there automatically. Think of it like a pathway, like brushing your teeth, like something you do every day. You don't have to really think about how your hand moves in your mouth or you hold the toothbrush. You just think it's basically wired in. You don't really have to think about it. But you also have feeling and thought pathways that are wired in too. And an example could be every time I eat gluten, I feel like crap. Or maybe you think, I get anxious when I check my email, so now every time you check your email, you get anxious. Every time around 3 p.m., every day around 3 p.m., I crash. Those are all worn pathways and all pathways that I have personally rewired in my own brain through hypnosis and brain training skills. These thoughts and feelings may not be helpful, but they're well-worn, deeply grooved paths. And each time you disrupt that pattern in the moment of it occurring, even if it's for a second or two, and you try something different, like taking a deep breath, your hand on your heart or your chest, and you start actually carving out a new trail, a new brain pathway, because you're doing it in the moment, and that becomes a new path. That becomes a pathway, which eventually becomes your brain's new default path, the one you want to take. It's not about perfection. There's nothing about needing to do it a very specific way. It's all about being gentle with yourself and really being consistent in those redirections. That's just one teeny tiny way that you can redirect. But every time you pause and interrupt the pattern and try something new, even if it's for that second or two, you're stepping off that old pathway and you're carving out a new trail, a new brain pathway. And the more you repeat this over and over again, the easier it gets until eventually that new trail becomes your brain's default path, the one that leads towards healing, towards calm, towards trust, that feels as easy as brushing your teeth in the morning or at night. So brain rewiring is based on neuroplasticity, which means your brain is designed to change. So in grad school, I liked learning the Latin term for words because it helped me understand the meaning of them. For instance, psychology, psyche meaning soul, ology meaning language. So translated, that means psychology is the language of the soul, giving an understanding as to why it's so important. So why am I telling you this? Well, because now moving to neuroplasticity, what's neuroplasticity? Neuro refers to the pathways or brain cells communicating with each other. And plastic means changeable qualities of the brain. Think warm, moldable plastic, like melting plastic and making a new toy or something. It's changeable. So neuroplasticity translates to changeable pathways. Makes sense, huh? Well, research tells us that the brain is able to create new neural pathways that make reoccurring thoughts and behaviors more efficient. So the more we repeat a thought or activity, the more those pathways are wired into our brains, the more we do it consistently. So as Donald Hebb says, neurons that fire together wire together, meaning that when the neurons in our brain are being utilized repetitively, they are firing, and over time, when they wire together, they form a new pathway, just like that one in the woods that we saw. What do we call a new pathway? Well, they're easier to take than a road less traveled. Why does this matter? Well, you may hear me say this a lot, but what we focus on, we magnify. So we can start out being only sensitive to one chemical, food, or activity, and then continue to gain more and more. Because our brain makes an association, and it continues to grow stronger because there's an increased awareness and therefore an increased response. So if we continue to focus on food sensitivities, whether that be obsessing about symptoms that come up, what we can or can't eat, or avoidance, we are giving attention to it. So avoidance can actually lead to additional sensitivities because what we focus on, we magnify, and we're magnifying that sensitivity. So every thought and feeling fires neurons, and the more they fire, the stronger those patterns become. The brain doesn't care if a pattern is helpful or unhelpful because honestly, it doesn't know the difference. It just follows whatever is repeated. But the good news is that when you consciously or otherwise knowingly repeat a calming, regulated response in the moment, your brain literally rewires to follow that. Inside my Release and Rewire course, I teach super doable tools you can use in the middle of your day, even when you're busy or overwhelmed. These tools combine nervous system regulation, brain training, and gentle mindset shifts that don't require hours of journaling, meditating, or forcing positivity, making yourself push through feelings and symptoms. The tools work with your nervous system. Most tools take a few minutes and can be used in the moment when you need them most. And over time, they help your body feel good and rewire your brain by creating new neural pathways, like that path in the forest. So I've designed the tools especially for those with chronic illness, stress, fatigue, or anxiety, because healing has to feel accessible. It's not about perfection or lengthy practices. It's about kind recognition in the moment and gentle redirection, not perfection. So why the subconscious matters? The subconscious mind in brain rewiring matters so much because the subconscious mind stores 90 to 95% of your thoughts, beliefs, and patterns. It's like the autopilot system that's running behind the scenes. So if you're trying to heal or make changes, sometimes with brain rewiring, with just your conscious mind, it can feel frustrating or slow. That's why I love hypnosis. It's like an accelerated yet gentle shortcut to access your subconscious, calm your nervous system, and actually plant new patterns that support healing and form those new neural pathways we talked about earlier, the path in the forest. Hypnosis is not mind control. It's a powerful and relaxing tool for rewiring your brain on a subconscious level for healing. Hence, me naming my business Rewire for Healing. So if this clicked for you, I'd love for you to stick around and see what I post next. And go ahead and subscribe here for more videos that support your healing. And I didn't forget, if you want to experience brain rewiring for yourself, I made a free hypnosis recording just for you, so you can begin to gain access to your own subconscious mind make lasting changes. And of course, it's called Rewire for Healing and Resilience. And you can get it at Rewire for Healing. I'll include the link below too. But just know this, that your brain is always changing and you can teach it something new. And the more you practice nervous system regulation and in the moments of stress, the more natural it becomes to just feel safe, to feel calm, and to build those new healthy pathways in your brain, just like that fresh path in the forest. So if you have one takeaway today, let it be this. You already have the ability within you to rewire for healing. So get started with my free hypnosis recording.